14 years ago, a fungal contamination caused the extinction of almost 98% of life on Earth. This event triggered a chain reaction, with famine spreading across the world and resulting in civil war, where survivors fight for food reserves. In this apocalyptic scenario, land is the most precious commodity, as only those who can grow their own food have a chance of survival. In the present day, a group of armed individuals find a 40-acre farm in Canada and invade the property, which appears to be empty. Even so, the group's leader calls out for the farm owner while sending some of his men into hiding to explore the area. One of them enters a barn but is attacked from behind with a knife. The others run through the cornfield, but gunshots are heard, and the men are eliminated in a matter of seconds. The group soon realizes that the place is inhabited, but before they can do anything, they are hit by rifle shots. With only one survivor left, he tries to escape, but is attacked by a young man named Manny, who knocks him to the ground and stabs him with a knife. After the confrontation, the owner of the property and Manny's mother, Haley Freeman, gathers the rest of the family. They check to see if there are any survivors, and to everyone's surprise, the person Manny attacked is a young woman who is still alive. Still, Haley orders her son to finish the job, and even though he is hesitant, he shoots her, as they cannot risk others trying to invade the farm. After that, the family gathers for dinner, with Haley teaching everyone about the importance of effort and discipline. Thanks to her experience in the army, she and Galen have set up a command center for surveillance and communication with other farmers, along with a weapons cache. In addition, they have created a strict routine for their children to follow, helping with the planting and learning combat techniques. The days pass without major incidents, until Haley contacts an old friend named Augusta. She warns that the Fleming's farming family has been attacked, and it appears that the criminals were cannibals. Augusta advises Haley to be careful, as the gang is still at large and they may be the next targets. Meanwhile, Manny finishes his chores on the farm, and without his mother's knowledge, he makes an opening in the property's electric fence. With that, the young man goes to the lake to spend some time alone, when suddenly, he comes across a beautiful young woman in the distance. When it's time to leave, Manny follows her and discovers that she is a resident of the village where Augusta lives. The young man is excited to meet her, but he needs to return home, as he is late for his sister Donnie's initiation ceremony. The girl is then named a warrior by her parents, tasked with protecting the farm at all costs. Minutes after the ceremony, Manny returns home and is scolded by Haley, who demands to know where he was. The young man says he had gone to the outskirts of Augusta's village and that he would like to be able to interact with the people there. However, Haley forbids him, as everything they need is on the farm and their only priority is to take care of the land and their family. She then sends everyone to bed and tells Manny that he will go with Galen to the old station to accompany Donnie's on his first excursion. The next morning, the three of them head to the station, while Haley stays at home to take care of Rain and Cookie. She takes the opportunity to tell the story of how she met Galen during her time serving in the army. Like Manny, Rain is curious about the world outside the farm and whether there are other people her age out there. However, Haley avoids commenting on the subject, as she does not want to risk her children's lives amid the chaos that has taken over the world. Back at the station, Donnie's, Galen, and Manny continue to explore the place when the girl finds a room with several bodies on the ceiling. Soon after, they encounter an armed group at the site, two of whom are wearing army uniforms. They say they are part of a rural protection patrol and that they came from the Fleming's farm. Upon hearing this, Galen remembers what happened to the farming family, and without hesitation, he and the others eliminate the group with their weapons. After that, Manny suggests searching the victims' bodies, but when Donnie's tries to do the same, she encounters one of the group members, who was hiding. He tells the girl to be quiet, but as soon as Donnie's turns around, the man shoots her and runs away. Hearing the shots, Galen and Manny rush to help the girl and hurry her back to the farm. Fortunately, the shots only grazed her, and after treating her wound, her parents let her rest in her room. Although his sister is safe, Manny feels guilty for suggesting they search the bodies instead of leaving. Fearing that someone has followed them, he decides to search the farm once more when he hears a noise on the other side of the fence. With his gun at the ready, he goes to check who is there and finds the same young woman he met at the lake, asking for help. The next day, Galen and Haley call the kids to a meeting, saying that from now on, surveillance on the property will be even more intense. While Donnie's recovers, Cookie and Rain will be responsible for inspecting supplies and ammunition. As for Manny, he will help Galen and Haley with surveillance, and if any strangers show up on the farm, they must eliminate them without hesitation. With everything explained, the family spreads out to begin their tasks, but Manny disobeys orders and goes straight to the barn. Once there, it is revealed that he brought the girl to the farm without his mother's knowledge. For safety reasons, he tied her up, but Manny promises he won't hurt her and asks her to take a look at the wound on his arm before it gets infected. Meanwhile, Haley checks the surroundings when she hears a noise coming from afar. Without hesitation, she points her gun and pulls the trigger, but there is no sign of a human or animal anywhere. This only makes her more nervous, and she turns on the communicator to talk to Cookie, but the girl doesn't answer. Haley then tries to contact Manny and is enraged to learn that her son is not in his position, as she ordered. Fortunately, nothing strange happens on the farm, and when night falls, the family gathers for dinner. Galen comments on the incident at the station and believes that the hanging bodies were a trap set by the group of cannibals. Rain asks why they did that, and Galen explains that the blood drains faster, preventing the bodies from decomposing quickly. Seeing his sister's curiosity, Manny jokes about it, asking if she also wants to hang bodies. Everyone around laughs at the comment, except Haley, who does not accept that her son and the others are joking about something so serious. She reminds everyone of the gravity of the situation and warns that she will not tolerate them being careless or disobeying her orders again. However, after dinner, Manny returns to the barn and brings food to the unknown young woman. He asks for answers, knowing that this is the only way to have a chance for his mother to accept the girl on the farm. She then introduces herself as Dawn, a volunteer nurse who came to help the farmers and went to live in her Aunt Augusta's village. However, the place was attacked by the group of cannibals, and she narrowly escaped, ending up at the Freeman farm. Manny believes her words and unties her, and the two spend the rest of the night talking. The young man says that his mother has always had difficulty trusting people, and when chaos took over, she locked herself inside the farm and does not allow her children to leave. The young woman understands the situation and notices that Manny has a tape player and headphones. She asks to listen to some music, and the two enjoy the sound for the rest of the night. At dawn, Haley goes to Manny's room, but doesn't find her son and asks the girls where he is. Rain says he's probably in the barn, as he usually goes there when he wants to be alone. Unfortunately for him, his mother and Galen show up just as the young man is with Dawn. When they see the intruder, the couple drags her outside and leaves Manny locked in the barn so he won't try to interfere. After that, Haley pulls out a gun and orders the girl to say what she is doing there and how she found the farm. Dawn repeats the same story she told Manny, that she is a volunteer nurse who came with the Union Army to help the farmers. However, her group was attacked by a group of cannibals, leaving her as the only survivor. Haley doesn't believe her and fires a warning shot into the ground, warning that if the girl lies again, the next shot will be aimed at her head. Dawn swears she is telling the truth, and finally reveals that she is Augusta Taylor's niece. She says that her aunt directed her to the Freeman farm, and that they would be the only ones able to help her. Upon hearing Augusta's name, Haley remembers years ago when she returned to Canada and went to her father's house. There, she went to meet Manny, still a child, to take him back after leaving the young man living with his grandfather Felix. Haley does not have a good relationship with her father, and she only returned to pick up Manny and leave. She then goes to buy some things for the trip, but at dusk, her vehicle breaks down and stops in the middle of the road. Luckily, a woman arrives in her car and offers to help, introducing herself as Augusta, a friend of Felix. Upon learning that Haley is his daughter, Augusta gives her a ride, but when they arrive at the farm, they discover that the place has been attacked. Among the victims, Haley finds Felix seriously injured and asks where Manny is. Before perishing, the old man shows her that the boy is in the barn, and Haley finds Manny safe, with an unloaded gun in his hand. From that day on, Haley decided to stay on the farm and owes Augusta a debt of gratitude. After this memory, she continues to question the girl, while Manny rushes to the command center and tries to contact the village to confirm Dawn's story. After much effort, he receives a signal from the communicator, but is unable to speak to Augusta. Seconds later, Galen and Haley appear in the command room, and the young man announces that he has received a call from the village radio and asks to go there, as he wants to make sure that Dawn has told the truth. However, Haley is against the idea, as she does not want to risk her family's lives for the sake of an unknown girl. Manny becomes enraged, saying that he is tired of being imprisoned on the farm just because his mother cannot trust anyone else. Haley loses her patience with her son and lashes out at him, but she soon regains her composure and leaves the young man alone. Enraged, Manny decides to go to the village of Augusta on his own and leaves on his ATV, alongside Dawn. Minutes later, Haley discovers that her son has run away and asks Galen to stand guard while she goes after Manny. Meanwhile, Manny finds the village, but the place seems to be uninhabited, so he goes to check the surroundings. He finds several vehicles gathered together and starts checking inside them, but there is no one around. Finally, Dawn reveals that the cannibals are nearby and that they forced her to lure the Freeman family, as her Aunt Augusta is being held prisoner. Soon after, 3 boys from the village appear, and Dawn reveals that she has managed to keep them safe from the cannibals. Upon learning the truth, Manny gives the boys some food and promises to save Augusta and take everyone safely to the farm. Meanwhile, Haley also arrives in the village and goes to inspect Augusta's house, but all she finds are traces and bloodstains. Finally, she goes to the office and sees the radio turned on, along with a photo of Augusta and Felix. Haley decides to take the photo with her, but doesn't notice when one of the cannibals appears behind her and attacks her. She tries to resist, but the guy manages to knock her out. Back at the farm, Galen and the girls are checking the supplies when suddenly Cookie sees something strange on the cameras. She then shows her father an opening in the fence, and Galen decides to go there, taking his rifle with him. When he gets there, he looks to see if anyone is around, when he sees the antlers of a moose in the distance, passing through the woods. Galen believed that all the animals in had lost their lives to the fungus contamination, and is surprised to see a living creature after so long. However, it is soon revealed that this is one of the cannibals in disguise, and in a surprise attack, his accomplice strikes Galen on the head, knocking him unconscious. Then the rest of the group appears and sets out to invade the farm, with Rain and Cookie seeing the intruders through the cameras. Rain then tells her younger sister to hide in the bunker while she grabs a rifle and goes to deal with the situation. With the rifle pointed at the bedroom window, the girl tries to contact her father, who wakes up just as 2 of the cannibals are nailing his hands down. After that, one of them starts to devour Galen's arm, but he manages to free his other arm and uses the nail to hit the guy in the neck. His accomplice tries to attack Galen, but he is more agile and eliminates him, hitting him in the head with the nail. After dealing with the cannibals, Galen uses the radio to talk to his daughter, just as she starts shooting at the invaders. Thanks to her aim, she eliminates the enemies one by one, but they are more numerous than she expected. Seeing the shots coming from the window, the cannibals shoot back, and Rain is narrowly missed by one of the shots. She is then forced to hide behind the wall and hears her father's call on the communicator, telling his daughter to hide inside the bunker. Far away, Haley wakes up tied up in the basement of the house, where she finds Augusta, still alive. She is relieved to see her and tells her about the girl who went to the farm, saying she is Augusta's niece. The old woman says that the cannibals forced the girl to go, but she feared she would not survive entering the Freeman farm. However, thanks to Manny, Dawn was spared, which makes Augusta happy, as she realizes that even in a chaotic world, the young man managed to maintain his humanity. After everything is explained, the two need to find a way to escape, and Augusta asks Haley to find the children from the village and take them to safety. However, before they can do anything, the leader of the cannibals appears, saying he knows Haley and her reputation. He believes that she, like her group, is just trying to survive, but Haley accuses him of devouring other human beings. The man just laughs at the situation and orders his henchman to remove Haley's leg, as his men will need food when they return from hunting. The henchman obeys, but first, he takes care of the other prisoners, including Augusta, who is eliminated in front of Haley. After that, the man takes the prisoners' bodies and Haley to the shed, while watching her friend being eliminated, unable to do anything. Hours later, the cannibal returns to the basement and sees Haley, who seems to have fallen asleep due to exhaustion. The man then takes the opportunity to grab the strap and tie the prisoner's leg before she can remove it. Unfortunately for the man, as soon as he approaches, Haley knocks him down with a kick, holds his arm, and grabs his head with her legs. The man tries to resist, but Haley uses all her strength and manages to eliminate him. After that, she crawls through the basement to get the guy's rifle, with the group's leader appearing shortly after. Fortunately, Haley is faster, and without hesitation, she unloads her weapon at the group's leader, who falls lifeless to the floor. Finally, Haley is free and rushes back to her family, but first, she bends down in front of Augusta's body and regrets not being able to save her. Seconds later, someone opens the door, and Haley prepares to shoot, but on the other side, Manny appears. She is relieved to see her son safe and says that even though he hates her, she did what she could to protect him. Manny replies that he never hated his mother and understands her reasons for being so strict, but now he needs to find his own way in the world and learn to trust other people. Mother and son then reconcile and decide to return to the farm to save their family. Before that, Manny goes to the bus to find Dawn and the young men and asks his mother to take them with them, or they too will fall victim to the cannibals. Out of consideration for her late friend, Haley agrees to take them, and they all leave immediately to return home. Night falls and the cannibals rush towards the house, but Rain and Cookie hide in the secret bunker, taking Donnie's with them. Minutes later, Galen appears through a secret entrance and tells his daughters to stay there while he finishes off the invaders. With some of the cannibals inside the house, Galen tells Rain to turn off the lights and activate the security locks, with several iron plates blocking the doors and windows. Thanks to this, the house is completely dark and the cannibals inside have nowhere to run. Taking advantage of this, Galen begins to eliminate the invaders with gunshots and knife blows, giving none of them a chance to defend themselves. Meanwhile, Manny and the others arrive at the property and take a shortcut through a hole in the fence. As soon as they arrive in the field, they come face to face with more cannibals, who are hidden around and start shooting at the group. Haley decides to delay them and tells Manny and Don to take the kids to safety inside the house. Meanwhile, Galen returns to the bunker, and despite his efforts, there are still 2 cannibals left, who have found the entrance to the hideout and are trying to force their way in. To make matters worse, they plan to set the house on fire, and Galen decides to confront them, but he has lost a lot of blood in the confrontation and can barely stand. He then asks Rain to open the door and let them in before the house is destroyed. The young woman obeys, and as soon as she lets them in, Rain says she is unarmed and needs help to treat her sister's injuries. The cannibal sees Donnie's lying on the table and points a knife at her, threatening to eliminate her if her sisters try to trick them. After that, he sends his henchwoman to check the area, and she finds a room with a vast arsenal. In addition, she finds a cabinet full of rare spices, which are part of Galen's collection. The cabinet is locked with a padlock, and the cannibal tries to break it using the butt of her gun. What the madwoman didn't expect was that Galen was hiding behind a table, and holding a shotgun, he eliminates her with a well-aimed shot. Seeing his colleague lose her life, the cannibal grabs Cookie and threatens to eliminate her, but Donnie's gets up from the bed and attacks him with her pocket knife. Thanks to this, the guy ends up letting go of Cookie, and Rain takes the chance to grab her pistol and finishes him off with a shot. Finally, the group manages to get rid of the cannibals inside the house, but the confrontation continues outside. Haley continues to exchange fire with the rest of the group, giving Manny and the others a chance to get home. Finally, they enter the bunker, where they find Galen seriously injured. Don offers to take care of him, and after getting everyone to safety, Manny decides to go back to save his mother. He needs to hurry, as Haley is facing the cannibals alone, and at one point, her gun runs out of ammunition. To make matters worse, she is shot in the leg and does her best to hide inside the barn. However, she soon finds herself surrounded by 3 cannibals, armed with machetes and ready to attack her. Even wounded, Haley is not afraid and pulls out a knife, managing to eliminate the first one. The second henchman goes for the confrontation, and in a moment of carelessness, he manages to hit Haley's body. Not satisfied, he starts punching her, but Haley attacks the madman's arm and finishes him off with a blow to the neck. Despite this, the last cannibal stabs her in the back with his knife and knocks her to the ground with a headbutt. Haley is too weak to fight, and the enemy pulls out a machete to deliver the final blow, but Manny appears and shoots the man, eliminating the last of the cannibals. Manny then rushes to take care of Haley, who asks her son if everyone is safe. He tries to calm his mother down, saying that the family is safe thanks to her, which relieves Haley, but due to her injuries, she faints in her son's arms. Days later, Manny and his family take care of the farm, now with new members. After another day of work, everyone gathers for a meal with Haley, who, despite her injuries, managed to survive, but her recovery will be slow. For this reason, Manny is put in charge of taking care of the property, and after prayer, everyone enjoys the feast at the table. Finally, Haley looks at her son with pride, certain that she has taught him well, and has learned from him that even in difficult times, there are still reasons to trust other people. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.